Well, the role a father plays in the life of a family is very important, and our next guest is dedicated to providing resources to everyday fathers through programs as well as community events. We welcome now the responsible father advocate, Coach Stevan Lynn, to the show. And
my friend, good to
see
see
you
you
here.
again.
Good to see you again, baby.
Same here. Same here.
Good to have you on this side.
Thank you.
Hey, so talk to us about this. First of all, Happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much, and your family as well.
Hey, thank you. So we're talking about the Fatherhood Initiative, and really, as we start off the new year, really putting family first. So give us a little bit about the Fatherhood Initiative, and right here in our borough, we've got a special coalition.
Well, we're kicking off another season, if you will, of responsible fatherhood, trainings, events, counsel, those types of things, and we're going to take it up another level, if you will, this year because we were so successful in the past few years. Get a little bit deeper. We still have a lot of families out there where the father is not participating at all in the raising of the children, and it's not only hurting the family, but the community at large, and most importantly, it's hurting him. It's putting him in a deep hole, emotionally, spiritually, and we're just not going to have it anymore. We're not having it in the Bronx or the citywide period. So the coalition and Deeds-Driven Dads is going to add some new things to the game roster, if you will, and push it forward.
And so when we talk about really engaging fathers, you do a good job of really, meeting them where they are and dealing with them. What are some of the challenges that you're finding with some of these fathers in terms of involvement and family and really making that connection?
Well, our biggest challenge is still, and probably will be for quite some time, is fathers taking on the responsibility, maturing, if you will, particularly in understanding there is no turning back. You've been blessed with these children, and in many ways, that's your way out. That's going to give you the discipline and the sacrifice, the build your character that oftentimes is not there when you're just by yourself, when you're just out there in the wind, living day to day, which many of our brothers are doing. But once you have the children, that gives you a purpose, that gives you some type of structure. So we're really encouraging the fathers, don't shy away from it. It isn't a burden, it's a blessing. But we're really going to have to show them how it's done, as we've been doing for many years. Raising children, it's not an easy task, but it's also not impossible, as long as you prioritize and just do it day by day.
Right. And when we talk about these fathers, you work with them. There's expectations that you have of them.
Yes.
Share with us a little bit about the expectations that you put on fathers and then the follow-up that you do to help them to meet those expectations.
Well, our first one, and it's the pledge that we have them read, is to prioritize their children above all things. That's what you do. That's the only thing that truly matters at this point, the only thing that will last. So I get the fathers to, of course, take the pledge and understand what they're pledging to. And once they raise that hand, I swear to God, then we go ahead and show them the day-to-day operations. And when I say that, we've been doing this for quite some time. We're going to do a lot of dishes. We're going to wash all the laundry. That house is going to be tight. You're going to know all their friends and their friends' families. You and the teacher are going to be almost married. That's your partner. Right. And those types of things. You prioritize your family because we know this to be certain. Once you do that, skies part for you. Things start to clear up. You get opportunities. People start to recognize that, wow, you're a responsible, not only father, but a responsible man. And that kind of opens up a lot of doors for our fathers that, until such time as they do that, seem to be closed.
Now, somebody's out there watching right now saying, you know what, this sounds like just basic stuff. People ought to just know this in order to operate as being a parent. But the reality is some of the basic things that you just talked about, a lot of parents lack, and sometimes they even lack basic knowledge in these areas.
Particularly our fathers. Unfortunately, we've been having at least 2 generations now we've seen where a lot of the fathers did not have a father or a father figure or a real positive role model in their life on a consistent basis. So all of a sudden you have 1, 2, or more children and you really don't know what to do. That's just like if we was going on the ball field and you never played one game, nor have you ever seen anybody play the game. How would you know? So that's where we come in. It's more than just talking to the fathers about what they're doing. It's more of, let me show you how it's done. Deeds, not words.
And we're seeing some pictures here behind. I think you're seeing them right there on the screen. Talk to us about what we're seeing.
These are all our team photos. We're all throughout the borough now. We're in probably 40 schools. Last year we talked to over 3,000 fathers that we trained through Dads Take Your Child to School Day, Real Dads Cook. We're getting ready to have the Fatherhood Classic at MS 116. We're over on PS 102 over in East Harlem now, getting ready to have a daddy breakfast training. So the word is out there. There's no more excuses, particularly in the Bronx. about fathers doing their thing. And not only that, but getting the support that they need and the training and the encouragement.
And clarify, because we're talking about fathers. You're talking about things that are needed to be done, and to really increase the involvement of fathers. But when it comes to fatherhood and when it comes to parent involvement, fathers sometimes get a bad rap. And talk to us about this, because we find that in studies show that fathers are more active now than ever before, particularly in communities of color, and fathers are really stepping up.
Well, the bad rap comes from you not doing the work. And oftentimes it's warranted. If you think that you're going to come in and just talk the talk, you just want to see your kids, you just want to talk to them and get the respect, but you're not doing any work. You're not putting in the due diligence. You're not encouraging them. You're not supporting them. You're not sacrificing all for them. Then that's the title that you're going to get. You're not doing your thing. But those studies, that, as we've seen over the past few years, are only telling us what we already knew. They're just now studying it, but we knew that. We knew that a lot of the fathers were involved in their children's lives. They wanted to be a presence. They just weren't being counted, if you will, nor were we looking for any limelight. That's just what we do. And now it's being recognized because we have really put this fatherhood piece on a pedestal nationally. So we see the father has to be there. If he is not involved in that child's life, then it affects the whole community. We know that. All the social ills are directly tied to that father not being a part of that child's life. And so we said, we're going to attack this, if you will, our Goliath. And we've been beating him down with our little pebble that we have. 2018, it's a done deal.
And so for fathers, how do you go about identifying who these fathers are, and where do you pick them? How do you come across this class of people?
We've been truly blessed. Particularly last year, we did some great partnerships. ACS was one of them. My good friend and partner, Melvin Alston, he runs the Fatherhood Initiative for ACS, because we knew that was a never-ending pool of fathers that needed the support, that were on the edge of, I don't really have my children, I'm not really involved, but I need to be involved before something terrible happens. So ACS has been an incredible partner, as well as Department of Education. We're always in the schools. We're never going to stop being there. That's a never-ending flow of fathers with a full range. Old fathers, grandfathers, you never know. But that's where we mostly get our people, as well as because of the notoriety we've got with shows such as yours. The word is out there. Everybody knows what we do now. We're just requiring them to, before you come to us, understand this is a lifelong commitment. This is nothing that you could do overnight, and nothing that we're looking to, you just want to kind of feel a little bit better about yourself. When you take on your family and your children, understand that's till the last day, the last few breaths, if you do it right.
And you've had some great success stories. Share with us a little bit about the development of some of these young men and how they've gone from a place of, really uncertainty to really stepping up to the plate and handling their business.
Oh, so many fathers now we have on our team are doing fantastic work. You see them with the kids all the time. Any spare moment, they're with their children now. Any spare dime they have is for their children. They're no longer looking for anybody else to babysit them, raise them, shop for them, cook for them. They're doing it themselves. Complete self-sufficiency, which has transformed into a lot of fathers now are getting their own apartment, which is a true phenomenon. They're going back to school. We're getting ready to have the college tour this spring, our first fatherhood college tour throughout the Bronx, which I can't wait for. Those types of things, and it's just been incredible. The numbers are just phenomenal. Over 3,000 last year, for sure.
Wow. So for people who want to be involved with the Fatherhood Initiative, what do they do?
Get in contact with us, of course, deedsdrivendad.com. That's our website, as well as, of course, join us on Facebook at Stevan Lynn. That is our port, and that's where all of the fatherhood programs really put out their initiatives. They're looking for their programmatic development, and it's an easy way for fathers to not only be tied to what we're doing, but also what they're doing citywide and nationally.
And you've gotten some tremendous support from the Bronx Borough President?
Absolutely. From day one, they've always been a part of the team. The Bronx Fathers Taking Action, that's their fatherhood group, and they do a fantastic job. John Fielder is part of that, been with us from day one. But there's more now. Over the last 2 years, for sure, we've had probably another 5 fatherhood programs pop up all over the Bronx. The last vehicle that we're looking at is Riverdale. Everywhere else we're touching, Co-op City, High Bridge, you name it, South Bronx, but we're getting ready to come to Riverdale and do some things, which is a different type of issues that the fathers have there, still most needed. And then we'll have the whole Bronx covered, citywide, quite frankly, at this point.
And you've done, and this has been a citywide initiative, but
Yes.
actually it's branched out. I mean, we know the former President Barack Obama
Yes.
had a fatherhood initiative. You've
Yes.
been very engaged with the work going on in Washington, D.C. Talk to us a little bit about how that also plays a part in what you're doing right now.
Well, now we're doing a lot of lobbying. That's our next level. It was always a part of our dream to make sure that we have the legislation and D.C. on our side as far as fathers are concerned. So we're pushing to get some bills passed, particularly in dealing with a national registry on child support. Unfortunately, at this point, the states don't talk to each other. There is no one clearinghouse for child support. So you could have multiple cases open in multiple states for one child, which opens up a can of worms that you don't want to have. So those are the types of things we want, as well as more funding. We're really encouraging Congress now, don't slash our funding. We didn't have a lot in the beginning, but we're looking to increase the funding for fatherhood programs, outings, events, youth motivation and mentorship programs as well. We're really branching off with that. So that came through President Obama, and we're so thankful. I am my brother's keeper, which we've been saying that since day one.
Yeah. Well, we definitely thank you for the work that you're doing, the groundwork that you're doing is making a difference. It's certainly great to have you here, Coach Stevan Lynn.
Thank you, my
friend. And of course, you can always catch him on TV as well, bringing us the information on the success of fathers. Coach Stevan Lynn here with us on Open. Listen, stay with us. We got some other news, and as a matter of fact, let's go to some other news right now. Several of the city's leading animal welfare organizations won a total of $180,000 in grants to further help animals in shelters and then match them up with owners. Our reporter Arlene Makoko was out, and she brings us the story.